Starting? Yes. All right. Hello, everybody.
Money who's not here.
Yeah, we have like 0 viewers at the moment because we're having technical difficulties or something. But it is Lightspeedsound and introduce.
Meow meow. Hi, I'm Jazz.
And we are part of Team Petty Auntie. Unfortunately, like none of the other aunties could be there right now. And you know what? Fuck it. I am just going to reblog this finally again on Tumblr and like tell people that this is going on because this is
I know, like, can you amuse your aunties?
like this is going on right the fuck now. Join us. But like whatever. Because like 20 of you guys wanted this story from me and none of y'all are here right now and that is not my fault.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Like, you get the bonus of Korean drama in the background. It doesn't get more real than this. It doesn't get more auntie than
Like
this.
we have two petty aunties talking about like the awkwardest of awkward relationships. Like I don't know. I almost wish I could get Hedge Knight to join us, but like I think he's working right now because he has a job and I didn't. But all right. So have I told you this story, Jeff? I don't know if I told you the story.
No, I don't think I heard it. That's why I was so excited. Yo, I got my animal cookies. I wasn't lying.
Nice. I am so good.
$1 from Target.
Oh, we have 4 viewers. Hi, viewers.
We do? Hi.
Excellent. Okay, so now that we have viewers, I can begin my ridiculous story about Hedge Knight. So basically, I am old. I'm like 25. Hedge Knight is like 28. And we met a really long time ago in undergrad because like we were both officers, I shit you not, of like the oldest sci-fi fantasy club in the country. I can't make this up. This is so embarrassing. He was literally the president of the Sci-Fi Fantasy Club, and I was the PR chair. Because of all the people to hire for PR, you hire the girl that looks like a booth babe. And I was their booth babe, and I ended up being their PR chair, and it was really awkward. And I was like newly single in this club because my boyfriend from freshman year dumped my ass because he was a total asshole. And I was kind of like in the middle of this cult following of drama because when you have a whole bunch of dudes in a sci-fi fantasy club, they tend to sort of gravitate towards the few girls club. And so Hedge Knight, sorry, he something down. Something's really loud.
Yeah, let me mute myself.
There we go. Okay, so like Hedge Knight was like the president of this club, and we ended up going to this Halloween party together with like a friend of ours, and Hedge Knight dressed up as Forklifter Klaus from the YouTube video, which is like this really weird instructional German video involving Forklifter Klaus getting killed by a forklift. And I was Salome before the last veil, which is basically an excuse for me to dress up in a bikini and like something really gauzy and be all sexy and shit. And it was awesome. And I was super into him because he was this hot little ginger man with a great beard. And I was like, whatever. And then like a couple days later, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to ask this guy out because I was newly single. I didn't have any attachments, and he was super cute, and like he wasn't dating anyone. And so like I'm talking with my roommate at the time, God love her, and my roommate is one of those single child, only children people who always have like candy sent to them in college. Like her aunt, she's like the only daughter of like 2 white people, and so like as a result she gets like the popcorn tins and the candy containers and like the organic vegan chocolate and shit like that sent her. Like my parents didn't send me that shit. My parents gave me like the occasional packed bits of like cha chow and like roast duck because like there was no Asian food within the area, but still. So anyways, my roommate had like this huge carton, like this 2-foot tall like tin filled with like Halloween candy that her aunt had sent her. And like Hedge Knight at the time was the RA of the German house. So and he was like always talking about, oh, the German house, everybody needs candy. So I was like, oh my goodness, we don't want this shitty candy. What if we call Hedge Knight over and say, do you want this candy? And it will be an excuse for me to greet him and ask him out and make him come to our dorm room. And this is like the most awkward shit ever. Like it is terrible. But it's like we think, oh, you know what? This is so obvious. A girl is asking you, literally being like, hey, baby, you want some of this sugar. But I call him and I'm like, hey, so what's up? I know that you said you needed some extra goodies. I have this huge tin of candy. Would you like to come over and get it? And he's like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll be over there. Like, he's, like, near there on campus. So then, like, this gives me, like, 20 minutes to get ready and get hot. So what do? I hop in the shower. I hop out. I am dripping wet. I've just lotioned my body. And as he walks through the door, I am rolling up a pair of fishnet tights on my bed. Like, literally, he walks through the door, and I'm like, oh, hi, what's going on? And, like, Hedge Knight was, like, really naive and stuff at the time. Like, it's not like he did. His eyes get really wide, and he's like, you said you had some candy for me? It is, like, the beginning of the worst porno you could ever imagine. Like, I felt awkwardly embarrassed for him because I was like, shit, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, here I am expecting him to, like, get it. Like, come on over. We can hook up and ask questions. No, he literally, like, does not.
I literally asked, like, if you look in the chat, as you were saying, I was like, is this a porno?
It is a porno. Like, I swear to God, it feels like a porno. And, like, he walks in. No, he doesn't even walk in. He takes, like one step into my tiny little dorm room. And it's like, so where is it? It's, like, right there, but it's so obvious that he's just, like, so uncomfortable and awkward and just does not know what to do. So I'm like, whatever. I hop off the bed. I hand him the huge 2-foot-tall tin of candy, and I'm like, hey, we should hang out sometime. Like, this is the beginning. And he goes, right, yeah, that sounds like fun. And then he walks away. He fucking leaves me right there with my hair, like, dripping wet onto my shirt, like my tights still on, like my mini skirt halfway up my thigh. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know what to do with this. This has never happened to me before. I have never been awkwardly turned down in this manner because, like, I had no idea boys could be this clueless. And so, like, 5 minutes later, I'm still standing in my dorm room in shock, and my roommate, God love her, had, like, kind of vacated the premises into the lounge to give us some privacy and shit. Like, she was in on this plan. So I walk in, and she's like, wow, that was really quick. What the hell happened? And I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened. I said, let's hang out sometime. And he said, yeah, that sounds great, and walked away. And she's like, well, maybe he just didn't get it. Maybe he wasn't snubbing you. And I'm like, well, maybe. Maybe this is true. Maybe boys are really that oblivious. And so I'm like, all right, I should call him. And she's like, yeah, you should call him. You should clarify because guys maybe aren't used to girls asking, you know, them out. And so I pick up my phone, and I call him. And he's like, hey, what's up? And he's, like, walking somewhere. And I'm like, hey, so, like, you know how I said let's hang out sometime? What I meant was we should go out on a date. And he goes silent for a good, like, 5 seconds and does not say anything. And I'm saying to me, like, hello, like, are you still there? And he goes, yeah, I'm still there. I'm just with my grandmother right now. We're celebrating my birthday. And it is the most awkward fucking shit. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, okay then. I mean, it's not like I was sexting him or anything, but it was still really fucking awkward. And he was like, can I just call you back? And I was like, sure, just call me back. And I hang up the phone, and at this point I'm like, was this really worth it? Was this guy fucking worth it? And then, like, he calls me back, like, 2 hours later, and I was like, oh, hi, how was your dinner with your grandma? And he was like, oh, no, it was great. And he was like, so, and I was like, so, awkward silence. Terrible, just horrible. And then he goes, so, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, so let's go out sometime. And he's like, oh, well, what did you have in mind? And I'm like, I don't fucking know at this point. I'm like, hey, you know what, let's go get something to eat. Like, what would you be interested in? And you know, I'm expecting him to do something like, I don't know, a nearby restaurant or even like an ice cream parlor. Like, it's not like we were in the middle of nowhere. Like, there were definitely nice places to eat within walking distance. But what does he say? He goes, all right, do you have a meal plan? Let's meet up at the calf in a week. The calf. The school cafeteria. He asks me out to the school cafeteria. I swear to God, I don't even know. I'm like, all right, fine. Sure. Like, at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is even going on? And so, like, finally, and then, like, the thing is, a week later, I kind of end up hooking up with this dude who ended up being my, like, serious boyfriend for that year, and it was really awful and traumatic, and I also kind of ended up in my first threesome, and, you know, like, the guy that I was dating, his brother died, and we decided we were in this, like, relationship, and then I ended up in a threesome, and it was, like, really awkward and strange, and then I realized I couldn't really go on a date with another guy, because even if I was kind of polyamorous at the time, I kind of said that I would only hook up with other guys, not, like, seriously date them, and it was, like, this awkward situation, and this other guy was also an officer in the sci-fi fantasy club, so it was just one of those situations where I was like, this is just going to turn into a clusterfuck that I don't want to happen. And so I end up calling up Hedge Knight, like, God love him, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. It turns out that I am actually in a relationship now. I'm sorry. I realized it was just like 5 days ago that I asked you out, but things change quickly. And his response was, well, gee, that's okay, because it turns out I am sick with the flu, and a bucket of snot is coming out of my nose, so it's a good thing that you canceled on me. Which is, like, the most unattractive image I could ever possibly imagine. And it was terrible. And then, like, for the next couple years, basically, like, we ended up sort of just talking and casually not mentioning what both of us had begun to refer to as the candy incident until about, like, 2 years ago, actually, because our anniversary is coming up in March. I had just gotten out of another terrible relationship, which lasted for like 3.5 years. Not with the guy before, but with another guy who looked oddly like Frodo from The Lord of the Rings, and in fact, my parents and extended family still refer to him as Frodo and seem to have forgotten his real name. But anyway, so I was like, after like awkwardly being like sort of friends and close friends and talking friends, but not dating friends, I ended up messaging him, and I was like, hey, so remember that time I asked you out sophomore year in college? Like, how about that? Like, did you actually say yes because you liked me at the time, or did you say yes because a girl was asking you out? Because that was hellaciously awkward. And he was like, no, I did like you. And, like, it was kind of like this weird beating around the bush thing until he was like, so yeah, what do you mean, like, you thought I was oblivious? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're oblivious. And he's like, no, I don't think I am. And I was like, dude, you are the type of guy where I would have to pin you against your wall and whisper, I'd like to fuck your brains out before you would even realize that I was interested in you. Like, this is literally, and like, this apparently makes him super excited, and that is how I got my boyfriend, by asking him out over the course of 5 fucking years. Yes. And by the way, everybody who was involved with this still refers to this as the candy incident. That is how awkward it is. So yeah.
That's like one of the most funniest stories I've ever heard. It should be a movie.
It was so bad though. Like, you don't even understand. Like everyone involved was like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, okay. That was the story. Jess, would you like to share an awkward relationship-y story too, or?
No, not because I don't have any. Actually, there's like this is like a continuation thing. So basically, like at first I was really shy and it was a long distance relationship, so I wasn't really close. Like okay with like taking off my clothes, and then eventually, like I don't know what happened, it just started coming off, and I just like barely wore clothes all the time, except like my ex was with her sister, and like I don't know why, but her sister, I guess, labeled me as a slut, which is like the very opposite of what I am. Not that that's a bad thing, but okay, like I am like inner slutty, but like in terms of like what I've done.
Like you're not like you haven't been with a lot of people or anything like that.
No, it was like my ex, that was it. And so like It was just really funny because every time she saw me, I would be bending down over or something, and I would be wearing lace lingerie. So that happened, and it was like it happened to be black too, and that happened to be like the only thing I was wearing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then so like I look back up, and then my ex is just like, I'm like, oh fuck, did it happen again? I don't know what else is there. Awkward stories. I think I have like a bunch of awkward stories, but I can't think of any right now.
We'll have to have like a recurring segment of awkward stories. Like this will have to be a thing.
With all the other aunties.
With all the other aunties. We'll do a live awkward show.
Because I can't wait to hear Ashley's story repeated. I can't.
Oh my God.
I can't wait. There's so many. So good.
I have so many. I mean like I was pretty slutty.
Yes, I want to hear all of it. I should give you guys an award, like life goals, # life goals.
Oh my God, like yeah. This is why I can dispense relationship advice because I've made absolutely every mistake in the book. But all right, okay. Good night, guys. That was it. Have a nice night. I am kind of sick, but yes, this was my present for all of my followers because I hit 5,000 followers. So have a nice night. Visit our Tumblrs. Mine is lightspeedsound.tumblr.com, and Jass's is.
It's Yaong Yaong, so it's YAONG twice.tumblr.com.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.